Hey, welcome to The Honest Path. In June 19th, 1623, a man was born into this world in France. Normally, I wouldn't talk about French people because I don't like France. I don't like being snooty, snooty French people looking down on me. Uh,
Mm.
they ain't the boss of
What about
me.
snails?
They're soft. They're not manly. Snails. What does snails have to do with France?
They eat snails, escargot.
Oh, well, there you go. That explains it all.
Hmm.
Anyway, a guy named Blaise Pascal was born in 1623, and he was a mathematician, a physicist, an inventor, a philosopher, and a Catholic writer. And he was a child prodigy. Anyway, my good buddy Rob, who's one of our board members here at The Honest Path, sent me some thoughts from Blaise Pascal because he had one idea that I can't stop thinking about. So we're talking about it. The 1024 this week was about it. And it is the notion, it's called the quiet room problem. Now, this is
Mm.
back in the 1600s. He said men don't want to be in a quiet room because they can't handle where their brains go and where their feelings go when they're in a quiet room. So they fill their lives with distraction. And distraction is designed to take away the pressure of silence. And in his day, that would be gambling, that'd be womanizing, that'd be fist fighting in the streets, although I can't imagine a French man winning a fist fight. But,
Against other Frenchies, he
well,
could.
I guess you could beat another Frenchie. So be like a cat fight is what that would be. Sorry if you're French. I'm just
Uh,
having fun. Anyway,
huh.
so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about escaping the noise and facing your life.
Yeah, we live in the loudest moment in human history. If Blaise Pascal could see us now, I shudder to think. Um, it used to be escaping from reality. So in Blaise's instance, he escapes through even other embodied means. Even
Mm.
gambling, if you can believe it, gambling in France in the 1600s is probably more embodied than scrolling through TikTok for 2 hours. It's
Meaning, yeah, what do you mean by that? Because you're with the same people in the
in
same
people in the present
casino.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
there's a meme of one of those jackpot rows, and everyone's it's so depressing. Those rooms, if
yeah,
you ever seen one, all those old people,
yeah.
and it says like no phones anywhere, people living in the moment. It's like this fake,
And they're
like
playing
it's
slots.
and they're playing slots. The only true part about that is that when those guys were gambling or fighting, or whatever, they were with other people. Now we
Yeah,
have that same level of distraction, completely atomized, isolated,
yeah.
digitized, and it's a mess. So in your pocket is a level of escapism that Pascal couldn't even have
Couldn't even
considered.
imagine. And
No.
yet, the problem isn't technology. The problem is that many of us are using technology to avoid ourselves.
Mm.
So I've been thinking about this a lot. Silence reveals things, noise conceals them. And so I've been spending a lot of time for quite a while, thanks, Rob, assessing my own ability to be in a quiet room for an extended period of time and go wherever my thoughts go, and why I don't like that and what I do to avoid that. And then
Mhm.
assessing all of my distractions. Why did I choose those distractions and what do they do for me? So we're going to invite you into our neurosis, and we're going to explore in these four quarters the concept of being able to be silent in a room, why you can't, why you should, and talk about what distractions you're choosing, blah, blah, blah. So, John, walk us through the four quarters and let's get in here and have some fun.
It's going to be good stuff. Our four-quarter conversation today goes like this. First, why silence is a challenge.
Mm-hmm,
Second, diagnosing what you're looking for in your distractions.
mm-hmm.
Third, more than consumers, that we are creators, we are sub creators. Well, I'm really excited for that one. And fourth, the good kind of leisure, other ways that you cannot. Uh, I feel like people talk about this French logistician. They're going to go, "Oh, you want me to be meditating on the deepest mysteries of the universe 24/7?" No, there are good ways to kill time.
There is good leisure, good time killing, good wastes of time
Yeah,
that turn out not to be quite as wasteful. All
yeah,
right.
for sure.
Opening stick, John. If you had 3 days alone, like you're not allowed to be with anyone, and it's 3 days back to back to back, you get to do whatever you desire, but you must be alone. What do you choose to do?
I think I would do, and this is probably naive. I might actually get through one day and go, this was a terrible idea. But I'd like to do a writing retreat. You just had one of these,
I did.
and is this no contact also? Is this no like messaging?
I hadn't thought of that, but let's say yes.
Okay, no contact. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're utterly alone.
I don't know if I'd come out of that like Jack Torrance in The Shining, you know, all work no play makes
Here's
Jack
Johnny.
yeah, yeah. So but I think I would love it. I think I would do a short maybe like a 4 or 5 hour drive away
Yeah,
off
off the grid.
semi off grid.
Yeah.
Maybe like a town with a little diner. Oh, I know. I'd probably go to Plain. I'd go to Plain, Washington.
Where is
It's
Plain, Washington?
it's right outside of Leavenworth. It's probably 15 minutes out of Leavenworth. And they've got the Plain Diner. It's in this little valley. It's beautiful. So
That's
I'd get
not
my
Blaine. There's also a Blaine, Washington.
now this is Plain,
Plain,
Plain.
Plain, Washington.
I'd stay at an Airbnb there
Okay.
and I would write all day, every day. And I'd
Hmm.
get my food at the diner. I'd gain 15 pounds.
Now you are allowed to sit at a diner by yourself and eat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Twilight Zone episode like this actually, where a whole town is like deserted like this. So
Really?
in my head, you sit at the diner and a tray just kind of levitates down. It's very eerie. But that's what I would do. What would you do?
I would do a 3 day motorcycle ride by myself. Now, this is something I've always wanted to do, but I haven't had the courage to do it because I like having a mechanic with me. And
Hmm.
so whenever I've done rides, I have Dallas Puckett with me and often Tim, both of who could take down a motorcycle and rebuild it with chicken wire and a pair of pliers.
And a piece of gum.
Yeah, so I know that I'm not going to get stranded. So but people tell me who've done, and they do way more than 3 days, but it's a sense of you against the elements, you against the world, you on your own,
Mhm.
and they say it's incredibly satisfying. So that I'd like to try that.
What would your route be? Where
Oh,
would
I
you
don't
go?
know. It would be 2 lane roads in the middle of nowhere. It would be the flyover states. It would be lots of sunshine, and I would stop at every bakery and every burger bar that had a bunch of bikes outside, and I would stay in hotels and sit by the pool in my flip flops every night.
We would both gain 15 pounds on
We
our three
would,
day
we would. That's
excursions.
that's yeah. You think I'm large now? Put me alone by myself with I'll get even bigger.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to quarter one. Why do we fear silence, John? Fear is a
Normally,
strong word. Maybe we don't fear it. We avoid it. Let's say that.
I think
Why? You
if
think we fear it?
I don't know what else you would call it. You watch somebody. I love driving in silence, so
Yeah.
sometimes I'll get in the car with somebody and we're driving and it's quiet, and they will ask if we're not talking, they'll ask, should I put this on? Like, oh, I heard this band, or there's always like the
Right.
initial reaction is how do we fill this space?
Yeah.
Or the big one is watching people in public in a line, how quickly someone picks up their phone in a line.
Hmm.
You can scan an entire room and see if you can make eye contact with anybody. It's very hard
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Yeah.
so fear is a strong word, but I don't know what else you'd call it when it's that instinctual. It's that like the gap, the silence gap that people allow in their lives is very small, very small.
Yeah. So I would call it self-preservation. I would call it some kind
Mm.
of defense mechanism. Uh, and fear probably is the correct thing. So why do we do it, John? Why do we avoid it, and why do we fill the space?
I think it's not for the silence itself that people are afraid of or avoid. It's what's in there, maybe.
Mhm.
There was a meme about this, basically about the how nothing is more existentially terrifying than doing the dishes, and people who do the dishes and just feel this dread come over them. I think part of that is silence. In fact, I'm like this. I was all high and mighty talking about driving in silence,
Yeah.
but with dishes, I almost always have a podcast going while I do dishes or mow.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's the exception that I don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, people, I think
Well,
there's a
that's
fear
really
of
that is
what's going to
interesting.
pop up in that vacuum. You
Right.
know?
I love doing the dishes.
Yeah.
And I don't like cleaning the kitchen. There's a difference. I've
Yes.
had to
Big
explain, I've
difference.
had to train Sue that there's a difference because she'll come in and say, "You didn't clean the kitchen." I said, "I never intended to. I just did the dishes.
Yeah.
I'm the dish guy. I'm not the kitchen cleaning guy. I'm the dish guy."
Oh.
So anyway, what I love doing is turning on, uh, Etta James or soul music or blues and having it up pretty loud while I do because it
Yeah.
feels like a dance party or something. But
I
it
was going to
just
ask about that. You have music going on almost all the time, all the time.
well,
What? Yeah.
way
What?
way less now. So
Okay.
like this morning I did the dishes. Sue's buried in work, so I did all the dishes and stuff, and but I didn't clean the kitchen. I picked it up a little bit,
No,
but
nice.
I put on a YouTube channel of just soft worship.
Hmm.
So that created a peaceful environment. But
Yeah.
now that you mention it, when I'm doing the dishes and there's no sound in the house, it's just not as fun. But when I drive my car, I love it to be silent in there because I do like to decompress, process thoughts, blah, blah, blah. So it's
Hmm.
an interesting thing. Your relationship with silence is an interesting thing to think about because the idea is that busyness becomes a sophisticated form of avoidance. And so we want to endlessly stimulate ourselves to keep us from examining ourselves. And I
Yeah.
think there's truth there. I think that um, I've had a couple of very close friends who became addicts. And what an addict especially cannot stand is a quiet room with nothing to do but be with himself.
Hmm.
And it becomes a very challenging reality. And what I've come to realize because of my good friend Rob giving me this Blaise Pascal conversation is that I don't like it either. And I would have thought that I have a good relationship with silence.
Yeah.
But I what I've become to realize is how many times uh, I am habitually or strategically avoiding silence. And
Well,
yeah,
and you brought it up. You said it's so much less fun without that. You know, without the noise. I mean, without music and podcasts or YouTube videos. So
yeah,
the we try to go deep here. How much of this do you think is just I'm just we'll talk about boredom later, actually, the incredible opportunity that boredom is.
yeah.
But how much of this is I want to make a chore more fun, and that's where that ends. That's the
Well,
bottom of that.
I do think that. I was just thinking the other thing I do silently is walk the dog. And I do
Mhm.
that twice a day and for 25 to 30 minutes a time. And I have nothing going on. And I don't like it. I don't, I can't seem to keep a train of thought. I got usually some dumb song I can't get out of my head. So I have put on headphones twice, once with music, which did change the entire feeling of the walk, and once so I could talk to my mom on the phone while I was walking. So
Mm,
uh, neither of those I want to do anymore. I want to punch through this silence. So I think there's a facing reality versus escaping reality. And when I use music, it is generally to escape. It is to make it a weightless environment.
yeah. So, and I've experienced this too with walks with dogs.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy walking dogs at all. I love walks and I love dogs. So what's the problem, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but
Well,
no,
the
I
dog takes you out of the game because you're
exactly
when you walk, you're having an experience.
right.
You really do love it.
Well, and music makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
So for a normal walk, sans dog, just me. Even on our busy road, sometimes when me and Lindsay would walk into town, we're already in town, but walk through the street to the main drag. Cars, it's we're in Tenino, Washington,
I was
and
going
if
to
two,
say busy roads, you have a town of 1,200 people
I'm telling you that
in the sticks. There are no
old
busy
highway,
roads.
old highway 99 goes right through this town.
Yeah.
And if you're going on a nice peaceful walk around 4:30 p.m. on a weekday, get
Okay.
ready to just hear big road noise all the time. I get so mad about it. We just had our anger episode. I get so mad about it. Lindsay's like, "What are you angry at these drivers?" I'm like, "Yes,
That's
go
so
some
funny.
go
Yeah.
away."
Yeah.
But I can't. I don't want to really live in the sticks. So I've buried myself. Anyway, all of this to say, uh, we're talking about a few things: chores and silence as such when you're sitting alone in an empty room.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let me give you some
Yeah.
facts and then I want to interview you because you actually like being in an empty room by yourself.
Mhm.
So you are not the target of this episode. So I want to understand that a little better. Here's some facts. The average smartphone user checks their phones dozens, if not hundreds of times a day.
I bet you it's hundreds. No
I
way
bet
is it
it is
just
too. There's
dozens.
no way it's dozens. Most people consume far more information than they can act upon. So,
Mhm.
you know, no shame here. If you're listening to our podcast and you listen to 30 of these and you don't act on any of them, That's more typical than being engaged and actually, trying to grow. Anxiety often increases when external stimulation stops. So
Mhm.
people feel more stress in silence than they feel when they are distracted or in a noisy environment. Reflection has become rare while reaction is constant. So
Yeah.
those are realities of our busy world. And a part of this is just the fact that the world has gotten too busy, so that you could argue maybe there's a proper amount of busyness and noise that is healthy. I think what we're proposing, what I'm proposing, because I don't have the freedom John has, is that there's a avoidance of complete silence, which is a problem. So to have, you could say, to have a balance of activity is a good thing, yes, but to never have silence, to never be in a quiet space just with yourself in a chair looking at a tree, whatever, to never have that is a
Hmm.
problem. Why? So, John, why are you good at this?
Uh, I'm good at it for all the wrong reasons. Please, I'm no hero. Stop. I'm just a normal guy.
Don't worship me.
Uh,
I'm only a man.
yeah. I have ADHD, so I don't need a dang thing
For
to
your mind to run around.
go crazy. So I
Yeah.
don't get any good thinking done.
Okay.
That not being able to hold on to a train of thought, things like that. In fact, I feel like it's if I don't have so if you can do two kinds of passive existing, which
Yeah.
is intaking and static.
Yeah.
I need so much more. I think I need much more static than anyone else, because if I'm just intaking, it's like you got to pressure valve it somehow. So I
Mm-hmm.
pressure valve it by sitting and staring at things with no noise, so that I can just try and ease some of that stuff. And it's not cool like what's that movie with Gerard Butler? No, Russell Crowe, and he's in on a college campus. Beautiful Mind. It's not
Mm.
like a beautiful mind. It's not like I'm over here pondering the secrets of the universe. It's dumb
Right.
stuff.
Right.
The reason why I don't listen to music in cars. I've had music on that I like, and I'm whistling other songs that I have stuck in my head. I'm not present for anything.
Wow. Yeah.
So
So that
it's a
what you're
yeah.
saying though is a really brilliant insight, because silence by itself is not the victory.
Mhm.
It is the quiet of the mind, and it's quieting the chaos. So
Yeah,
that
and
noise might only be in your head,
mhm.
and still you have a noisy world.
Yeah. So the deeper victory would be finding a way to, through, meditative practices,
Yeah.
quiet the mind. The only victory I've claimed so far is realizing that and in designing my environment away from addictive technology that makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that about myself when I had Instagram on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't. The technology is too manipulative for me to have that on my phone and realize that it was not helping and say, okay, then I won't do that. I'm going to leave it on there. So
Yeah.
I had to dumbify my phone and change my environment. Took YouTube off the TV because YouTube has shorts. So I
Yeah.
mean, I could
Yeah.
be up till 1:30 just
Yeah.
watching shorts on the TV. So that's the only victory I can claim.
Okay.
We talk about that a lot. Environment
Yeah.
design.
So, little foreshadowing here. Today I had a doctor appointment. I got there half an hour early. I happened to be around there, didn't have anything else to do. I sat in the waiting room with my phone in my lap, face down, and I watched everybody in the room. Not because this episode was coming. I wanted to not look at my phone. And the room was packed. And this room, uh, was probably 50 yards long. It was because it's multiple departments at this Kaiser place. Anyway,
Holy smokes!
so it's long, and it's lots of people,
Wow.
and 90% or more are staring down at their phones the entire time. Now, a young couple walked in and sat near me, and it was a disturbing observation for the next 25 minutes, and it's going to be the stimulus for an upcoming 1024 and a podcast about how to treat women. But that's a sidetrack. But everybody's looking at their phones. I could not believe it. They're almost never looking up until their name is called. So
Yeah.
here's our action items. Let's get to this. We're going to wrap up this quarter and give you some action items. Reminder: we give you piles of action items, not because we're trying to fill you with a lot of assignments, but we're trying to seed bed your imagination. Hopefully, you will latch onto one of these and go, I'm going to do that one. Or you're going to think of something on your own. You say, you know what? I'm going to try this instead. But we want you to take a piece of action somewhere from these conversations. So, action step number one, take a 10-minute silence challenge. No music, no phone, no multitasking. Sit in silence 10 minutes. I would suggest you have a legal pad next to you, and if a thought keeps pestering you and invading your brain, write it down and get it out of your head. 10 minutes. Set a timer so you don't worry about what time it is, or you're gonna I'm gonna do 11 minutes. Set a timer. 10-minute silence challenge.
I love that. Another would be to ask yourself the question, what am I avoiding right now? So what is underneath the insistence that I fill the silence? What is in that you're trying to avoid?
And I think there are frequently very specific things we're trying to avoid.
Hmm.
Notice number three, notice your escape routes. Is it scrolling? Is it gaming? Is it YouTube? Is it constant activity? Is it constant socializing? What is your distraction of choice that you go to avoid silence?
I love that. Fourth would be contingent on something like the 10-minute silence challenge. But journal one honest observation about when things got quiet, what surfaced, what came to the top.
Yeah.
And again, making really it's a bandwidth conversation largely is how you could word it. So making room for a quieter signal, meaning the one in your thoughts. And what did that tell you?
Love it. All right. Quarter number two is diagnosing the noise. What is it you're actually looking for when you move toward distractions?
Yeah,
What is it you're actually looking for?
I love this. So running from is the fear of silence, and running to is the content itself. So, have you heard of this? The new genre of entertainment is infotainment. All of these reels and all these YouTube videos. A 20-minute YouTube video. I would get man when I was on YouTube. I could waste so much time. Videos on one of my favorites is it's a geography channel, and they talk about weird geography facts about all over the world. I learned a
Yeah.
lot about Denver. They've got one about how come no one lives. It's basically drew a line from south of Seattle or south of Thurston County, even down to north of like San Francisco, like the Redding area,
Oh yeah.
and how nobody. No, that's right. It was south of Portland, all the way to that is like as populated as like Wyoming. Like it's nobody lives there,
And
and
it's
it's all
beautiful.
coastal. It's
That's
beautiful. It's coastal.
yeah.
So I was like, "Ooh, I want to know why." So I
Well,
clicked it. It's a
well, now
30
you
minute
got me
video.
curious. Why don't they?
Don't have the answer because that's what infotainment does. That's what it's saying. He told me the answer, and I don't know because as we said in quarter one,
Yeah.
we receive so much more information than we actually have any room
Right,
for
right.
or reason to have.
Well, you also used to watch this YouTube of this guy who's out in the wilderness making a lean-to and cooking food over an open fire and never says a word. You watch him saw down the trees, build the lean-to, make his bed, right? Remember this guy?
No, I don't remember that guy. I remember Townsend's the 1700s cooking channel. I still watch them. Every they release a video every Sunday. So every Sunday I go back to YouTube and watch their video.
All right, so John,
Uh,
what are you actually looking for when you're when you're when you're choosing these goofy distractions? What is it you're actually looking for?
those ones, some of those are really easy. In fact, all three of those have the same theme. The one that you brought up that I don't actually remember,
Hmm.
the Townsend's cooking channel, big recommendation by the way,
Yeah.
and that geography thing. They
And the Dry
all,
Creek Wrangler School.
yeah, that guy. They all of those include the same thing: a rural, simplified life fantasy. So even the geography one, I would go, well, shoot, I could find a town somewhere in Central Oregon on the coast and get cheap real estate and live in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
All of those are escape fantasies. So that one's even easier. Sometimes this can be really opaque
Yeah.
as far as what am I actually looking for here. But
Right.
but
Right.
my content really does follow that, and even the content that I would consume, not any that I produce, is a simple life, the illusion of a simple life away from this modern chaos.
So one of our thoughts is that most distractions are symptoms. What is that
Yeah.
a symptom of, John? Do you want to lay down? What
Again, this is
yes, what we need we need to put a really nice couch in your spot there so you can
yeah.
podcast from the couch. What what those you just nailed a pattern and a kind of thing and this simple life. What's that a symptom of for you?
it's a symptom of weariness. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
I don't know if it goes any deeper than, well, actually, I've always felt like, especially more and more as I get older, I'm from the wrong time. I'm not, and I'm maybe I'm for no time, because if I was born earlier and I'd have to actually work really hard and quickly and
Yeah.
diligently, I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily be built for that either. I'm built for who knows what. But this modern world with all of its intricacies, and the past one had those too. But uh, I yearn for relief from those. Tell me
So,
about, you get on the couch. What do you watch?
well,
What kind of content are you into?
let's put a period on this thing though, because one of our thoughts is you're not seeking content, you're seeking relief.
Yeah.
And your content also is a quest for relief from the crowded world, the overpopulated world, the demanding world, the political world. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all the things that you hate about mass population and culture. So your entertainment was seeking relief from the world and era you actually live in. So that all makes sense to me. That makes perfect sense.
Well, and so what? Sorry, you're right. You're right. I ran from it too quickly. The truth of that is, and the truth of this whole quarter is that I could find that in a truer way, in a real way.
Yeah,
So I look for a facsimile of peace. If we could sum it up as peace,
yeah,
and my fantasy of peace with all these videos,
yeah,
and I could get a facsimile of that on YouTube, but it's actually just making me. It's more noise. It's actually the opposite of what I'm really looking for.
yeah, yeah,
Where I could achieve that peace in person,
yeah,
and I am attempting to by shutting off those voices.
yeah.
Yeah.
We mentioned in the 1024 this week that there's the psychology of the hunt. So
Mm.
when you doom scroll, you might say, "I'm looking for something.
Yeah.
I need to find this thing, and I'm gonna find it." And then you find it, but you don't stop scrolling.
Of course.
So you
Or no, it's
think,
worse. You scroll, you get distracted by the scrolling, and you forget to even look it up.
yeah,
That's what happens to me.
yeah. So the psychology of what you're doing there is you're not hunting for a thing, you're hunting for a hit,
Yeah.
and it's all designed to give you a hit and then make you want another hit. And so you're actually numbing yourself and going after this dopamine hunt, uh, where this is the irony of that is because it feels like it's designed to give you quick wins, and you would think, well,
Yeah.
quick wins, who doesn't want quick wins?
Yeah.
And the quick wins take you into a black hole of loneliness and hiding behind constant connection, where you're not experiencing a rooted life, you're not embodied, you're not in community, you're not connected, and you're not even embodied to yourself because you're avoiding all silence of actually dealing with the world you actually have. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah. What if if another example, you're seeking these videos of connectivity, Twitch streaming is a good example. It's basically streaming a video game. One
mm,
guy's got the headset
mhm,
on, got the camera just like this,
yeah,
and then the game feed, and there's the chat on the side. All these people,
yeah,
and they get really deep communities in the way of recurring viewers, so people who recognize usernames, and they
yeah,
make kind of like friends in the chat room over
yeah.
time.
They become a tribe.
Yeah. So that is a kind of community.
Hmm.
We would say it's a really poor substitute for the in-person face-to-face thing.
Hmm.
But what you're seeking there is the true thing. You're looking for the real deal
Right, right.
in that kind of content.
Yeah. All right. We beat that ugly horse to death. Take that, dead horse. So
Yeah.
let's get some action items here. Number one, track your phone usage for 1 week. No judgment,
Tough.
just awareness. What am I doing with my phone this week? Just track it. Where you spent your time, and just to gain awareness.
Love it. Second action item would be to ask before every scroll session, why am I doing this?
Mm.
This is hard because when I had those apps on my phone, I would just look down and find it in my hand, open. Like I had actually subconsciously, I had a moment of boredom and I
Yeah.
just did it. So
Yeah. So
even
before you even have a conscious awareness, it's already open.
right.
And yeah.
So if that happens, just at the soonest opportunity that you're aware of what you're doing, ask yourself, why am I doing this?
And it helps to just put your phone face down and ask yourself, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Third, replace one digital habit with something else. So take a walk, read a book, pray, have a conversation with a human. but replace one digital habit at least one time.
Great stuff. And a fourth action item idea, again, just all of these would seed something in you, catch your imagination somehow. That's all we want. You don't have to do all these.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Fourth potential action item: reach out to one real person, not with a meme or a reaction, but with an actual conversation.
Yeah. I know couples who communicate with each other inside their house, in the same room, never saying a word. They just send TikToks to each other back and forth, and they'll spend an entire evening connecting that way.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, halftime, John.
Yeah.
Book recommendation. We're going to keep recommending books to you because we want you to be readers, because readers are the best people in the world. So, John, what's your book this week?
Book recommendation. This will be more of a preview into the next quarter, the very next quarter. I didn't know how what structure this conversation was going to have.
Mm,
So instead of being a reflective, this would be a preview. This is The Hobbit by J.R. Tolkien.
mm.
Look at that cover.
That is a great cover, man.
Shoo-wee.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that anymore. Uh, Goodwill, man. I've done Lord of the Rings before, and I'll probably do those again, book by book. 'Cause I just did the whole series. The truth is, I'm such a slow reader. I'm going to outpace every book I've ever wanted to recommend on this podcast. We're about to talk about creativity and Tolkien's view of sub creation, that
Mm.
we are created and we in an image of a creator and we sub create. We're in a creation and we create in the creation. And it's remarkable to me. I'll talk a lot more about that. The
Now,
Hobbit on its
yeah,
own as the book
yeah,
um, is incredible. It's very funny. It's so much more funny than the Lord of the Rings. It's very way less serious.
yeah.
It is such a good time. He
And
he was a
it's
go
a
ahead.
prequel to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, really, it was written first, so really the others are just sequels
Oh, okay,
of it.
okay.
But just a true fairy tale of a modern written, a very funny fairy tale about a heist. It's dwarves who hire a hobbit to help them steal a treasure from a dragon from their ancestral homelands, and it's very fun. Great book.
Awesome.
The audiobook, I'm audiobooks. I don't hate. I get flack as a guy who hates audiobooks. I don't hate them. The audiobook for The Hobbit, they have one that Andy Serkis, the voice actor of Gollum, narrates, and he's so good. He does voices for everybody. It's really, really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What do
All
you
right.
got?
My book is written by a friend of mine, and this is the book Gravity. Uh, and it's 7 essential truths about influence, leadership. So, uh, and your soul. So, the concept, Ron Keast is the author. He's Guide Evergreen, one of the most brilliant guys I've ever known. And he wrote this book. It's a fable. So it's a guy who the story opens up. He just has a kaboom at work. Doesn't see it coming. You're fired or you're demoted, whatever. Just this vocational crisis. And they tell him all the reasons why, because he's a mess. And so they send him on a journey to get well. And what I love that Ron embedded in me is the idea of a gravitational leader is a person, when you have influence, people are drawn to you
Mhm.
like a large planet and a smaller moon. And what weak leaders do is they want that person to be absorbed into them. You exist for me. You got to lose yourself in me. You got to be like me and, blah, blah, blah. But a great leader gives them some momentum and they might orbit that leader, but they have their own thrust, their own reality, their own leadership. That's a simple thing. But anyway, if you are a leader or if you've gone through a vocational crisis, this book is great for you. Gravity. There you go.
Good stuff, man.
All right.
All right. Into quarter three, we are more than consumers.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, everybody, I think, even in Pascal's day, most people were just consumers. And there's what I'm really talking about. Think about the animal kingdom. So, a family of birds, they hunt and they do create nests,
Mm-hmm.
but all of it is to basically subsist and to procreate. They create life in procreation. They do
Mm-hmm.
those two things. We are very unique creatures in that we can subcreate, like I was saying of Tolkien.
Yeah, so
So
if a bird builds a nest, it's building it for itself and its own
yeah,
family. It's not contributing to the world.
and it builds it of the world. It takes twigs from the world and puts them together. We are people who can create things. People get cynical about this, but we can create things that never existed before.
Mm,
And there's an art to it. Tolkien talks about, you can just write on a piece of paper the green sun, and everyone can just imagine a green sun.
right.
And he kind of pokes fun at that, of how there's really an art form in making a believable subcreation. He's talking specifically about writing, but further than that,
Hmm.
we are people who have a completely unique creative instinct and creative ability. And I know a lot of people who claim that they aren't creative. Lindsay, my wife, claims she's not creative, and she
You're
spends,
kidding me. She's
yeah,
creating things all the time.
all the time, all the time. She makes her own
That's
clothes.
hilarious.
She embroiders all the time, and does crochet all the time. So uh, I think there's, I don't know what that is. I was gonna say a
We're
bit
not
of
going to make her lay on the couch
no,
and talk about it. Move
no,
on.
but this is the creative instinct, and in the digital age specifically. So I do think I humans don't change that much. I
Yeah.
think all throughout history, most humans were not uh, totally utilizing their creative privilege.
Yeah.
But especially now, it is just the fire hose open wide. We're gonna shoot this into your mouth, and you're gonna consume till you die, and you won't even have time to think about what you could create.
Man,
What do you think about that?
I think that's spot on. And it makes me realize that a part of the paralysis of a doom scrolling culture is that it takes away, it numbs out your creative design.
Mhm.
So, because to create is to really add substance to life, your own life. So it's a life giving thing to give life. It is an energy creating thing to create. So, what a strategic thing the enemy has done to get us to be zombie consumers who don't create because there's so much health and vitality in the creating process. So, man, I think that's exactly right, John.
And the consumer, so maybe if we say they weren't creating throughout history, the consumptive part is very modern, very industrial,
It is.
which is to say, like 1% of human history, or maybe less, where every what you're doing when you're scrolling is making somebody rich. Again, we've talked about this manipulation. We
Yeah.
talked about this a lot more in one of our first episodes,
Yeah.
but basically, there is, when you come across a piece of content that you think is great, it makes you really laugh, or it's exactly what you were, it's your kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not like, it's not like you were going on a walk and you found a really cool rock and you're like, wow, what luck, this just is here.
Yeah.
No, you are drilled deep into this algorithm. They see exactly when you're on a screen, there's a timer in their servers of how long you're on that screen. And they know, okay, this profile looked at this screen for 7 seconds instead of 5 seconds. That's going to affect this, and they've got you.
Well,
So,
it's
and,
really interesting because uh, they actually know why you doom scroll better than you do.
yeah,
They know why you hate silence better than you do.
yeah.
That's fascinating
So really, we love to demonize these companies because they've earned it. I mean, this is like,
because they are demons.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Meaning is here too. So for the people who say, I don't believe you, I'm not creative, and I'm not gonna listen to that.
Hmm. Hmm.
The bandwidth to consider meaning, uh, when you're consuming, you're hearing other people's meaning, or what you should feel, what you should think things mean constantly, and you have no bandwidth to actually assign any to yourself. Again, back to the uniqueness of humankind. uh, um, what's the word, with our anatomy, anatomically, we are one of the only creatures, definitely the only mammal, who can comfortably look up into the sky. Think about it. Every other thing
Really?
crawls on four legs. Yeah, they all
Yeah.
got to, do this, or even monkeys are hunched over. Fish can swim on their belly and kind of look up, but then their eyes are still like.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is to see the clouds and to see stars and to go, well, that looks crazy. What does it mean? Astrology back in the ancient world, the star signs of what was coming. We're obsessed with meaning. That part's unambiguous. You can't get away from the creativity part. You can't say, I don't care what things mean. I don't believe you on that one. And this, again, in the consumer world, we don't have time to even ponder that.
So the digital world doesn't leave any room for your questions or your journey into meaning itself.
Yeah.
While you were talking, John, I was visualizing playing baseball. It'd be like you're up to bat and you never take a swing. You're just watching the pitches. Just watch more pitches. I'm just going to watch
Mm-hmm.
more pitches. I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching more pitches. And you think you're playing baseball, but you never even swing because it's all intake, no wrestle, decision, action. So it's disengaging, even though it feels engaging. And you might say, well, I comment and I pass on to my friends and yeah, and then the trolls drive you crazy unless you are one. And so it just leaves no room for you to deeply consider meaning itself or the meaning of what it is you're even consuming. I
Yeah.
think.
And the person you are, so much we talk so much about inner formation and self-awareness and
Mm-hmm.
mindfulness and doing things on
Mm-hmm.
purpose. Uh, and identity recently, we talked so much about identity. I think creation is another window into who you are. So if anything you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you're learning, what do I believe?
Yep.
What do I believe about myself? And again, we believe in truth and lies. It's not totally subjective. You can just believe whatever you want. You can do that, but there is uh, right and wrong. What is what I believe true? Capital T true,
Right.
or is it a lie? And these are opportunities for you to learn that. So I want to, our action items, I just want to talk about creating. Dad, help me out, because you've not always thought you yourself are a creative guy. In fact, when I worked for you, you talked about creatives like it was a slur. You would spit the word creative. You say the
Well,
creative team.
no, true creatives, okay, they have some things in common. I have to, when I send an email to a creative, it has to be very short, bullet points. They're not going to read a long email.
Mm,
So I found this to be universally true among creatives. So there are some traits, and I'm not creative. What I am is a thief. I take something somebody already made, and I can figure out a way to make it a little bit better.
mm.
So that's what I do. But I don't create from origin almost ever. I see something, and I go, ooh, 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 ooh. And it stimulates ideas and it stimulates thoughts, and I do something with it. But I'm terrible at looking at a blank slate or a blank room and saying, you know what we could do? I don't have any of that.
You're in great company, because that's what really all art actually is. I think, playing an instrument. So a few things you could do: whittling, writing, singing or learning an instrument, drawing or painting. The things Lindsay does, her fiber arts,
Yeah.
they're all from patterns that or she either gets online and makes verbatim. She makes the pattern,
Yeah.
or she's inspired by something online.
Yeah.
So she is still creating
But that's why
in that
she
way.
says she's not creative because she's stealing all of her ideas. And but the point is, we're at action item number 1 now, and the action item is create something, anything, something. Just create something. That's what you're
Yeah,
advocating, John.
yeah,
Is is make something.
yeah. So I didn't finish my thought. Sorry, for the music one. I've never written a song. I only play the songs that I like. But guess what? I'm participating in creation. I'm recreating
Yeah,
the song,
yeah.
and it's further engagement with it. So instead of listening to it or watching an interview with the band, which never do, by the way, makes they're all it's always a bad idea. I get further integration into that, and again, our embodiment. I'm further embodied into that thing. So uh, I encourage you. Our one and only action item for this quarter is
Yeah,
create something,
yeah.
even if it is a mimicry of something else. If you trace a drawing,
Well, and I think, John, you said I participate in the song. If I play songs I like, but I'm participating in the song. A thought jumped in my mind that I love about interacting with God. The scriptures talk about participating in the divine nature. So
mm,
when you take the creative God and you talk to him and you read his word and you implant his word in your heart and you take communion and you participate in the bread and the cup and you get baptized in water, and when you ask God to be your help in a moment of crisis, you are participate. You ask God to help you love someone that's really hard to love, or you stretch towards someone in need and it's inconvenient to you, and it's going to be hard to do, but you do it anyway. You're participating in the divine nature, and that is, by absolute definition, life giving to you. So
Yeah,
I think what you're saying is spot on. We're stumbling over who's creative and who's not, but it really is about participating in the creation with that sub creator impulse because it's life giving to people around you and to you.
absolutely, for
Yeah,
sure.
love it. Okay, quarter four, John.
Quarter four, the good kind of leisure. So again,
Now, if
go
leisure was
ahead.
an Olympic sport, that guy would have a gold medal. So,
Me?
yes. So,
Huh.
so talk to us about the good kind of leisure because that's an
Yeah, since
interesting idea because
I'm more qualified than anybody to talk about it, is what you're saying. Yes. So I get, in fact, I get this more from the social media kind of spirit than I do anything else. So even in social media, if someone encourages you to unplug, they'll say, when you unplug, you can do so many things. You can read philosophy books
Mhm.
and you can build a shack and you can start gardening. And it's like,
You can make sourdough. That was a big hit for a while.
so it's basically like I'm 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 pushing back on the utility. That is still that social media mindset that says busy, 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 noise, noise,
Yeah,
noise.
yeah,
I'm talking true leisure,
yeah,
true stillness
yeah.
in a human way, in a very restful way. I want to hear from you. I think I my answer, if I was saying what would my dad say, is the truest, purest leisure he experiences. I'd say it's on your motorcycle. Is that true?
Absolutely, because you're taking in nature. You smell things. You feel temperature more acutely. You're noticing the fields and the grass. And when you pass a vehicle, you're right next to it. You could reach out and touch it. And I notice things about vehicles that I don't notice when I'm driving my car.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very sensitive, heightened experience, a sensory heightened experience. And when you're out, we go on these. There's one road called the Lonesome Road, and it's just this
Mm.
long 2 lane road forever. Uh, Lonesome Highway in Arizona. The song. You familiar with the song?
I know Carefree Highway, Gordon Lightfoot.
Carefree Highway. Yeah, that's the name of the highway in Arizona.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
is Carefree Highway?
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So you're out there in the middle of nowhere, and your mind can just go, and you're aware that you're operating a piece of heavy equipment at a high speed with no protection around you. You're aware of birds. I've had a bird hit the windshield of my bike while I'm doing 70 miles an hour.
Ooh,
So you have all of that, and man, it is neutral because you're not solving real problems,
yeah.
but it is really connected. It's something.
When I forget when this was. I was early married, and I some kind of testimony stuff. I didn't become like a quote unquote real Christian, if those words are kind of gross, but until like after college, during college, after college.
Yeah.
So I had this kind of crisis of like, okay, well, what do I do? What does a Christian do?
Mm.
And it's a hard question because a Christian receives,
Mm-hmm.
and a Christian is called to a mission, to
Mm-hmm.
very specific missions.
Mm-hmm.
So there are answers there. But what does a Christian do in a day? You know, if you were to ask that of like of an NFL player, what does an NFL player do in a day?
Mm.
Well, it's a lot of dieting and exercising, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's got to go to a publicity event. Maybe he's got to go to practice.
Physical
What is it?
treatment. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all of these things are becoming is the way I think about it. You by how you spend your time, you use the word neutral in a different kind of way,
Right.
but no time is spent neutrally, or very little of it is. It, when you're spending your time in a digital kind of helter skelter pastime, you are becoming a certain thing. And when you spend your time on a bike, you're becoming a certain thing. Is this true of you? Do you feel more like Jim Ladd when you're on your motorcycle?
Yes.
That's how I feel when I grew a man bun. I grew a man bun and I had this long beard and this long hair. And I looked when it was down, I looked like John the Baptist. And I looked in the mirror
Yeah.
and I was like, I feel more like John Ladd than I've ever felt in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
That's
And
fascinating. Because when your hair is short and your beard is trimmed, that's when I think there's John Ladd.
no, there I think there's Johnny. Oh, hey, Johnny. Yeah, that's not John.
That's not true.
I had to cut my hair because I got a big old bald spot. I
That
wouldn't have
is,
if I
yeah,
didn't have to. So we've talked a lot last week on your identity,
yeah,
and that you can. There's a little bit of a feedback loop, but it always starts with, as far as what you do, feeding your identity.
yeah,
It always starts with identity. Who are you? Who do you want to be? And you can pass time that way and become who you already are. Kind of
yeah.
paradoxical.
Well, it's interesting because you made me think, for Lent, we gave up TV. I just read.
Yeah,
And man, it was 40 days I loved. So I wanted to filter TV back in slowly.
yeah,
So what we try to do is, have dinner, be together, and then watch a show, not binge a show, watch a show.
yeah.
And but I have a very specific emotional and mental experience when we do this. It's time to watch a show, and
Mm.
I feel my brain turn off, and I feel and I feel my day has ended. I might as well be in bed doing nothing
Mm.
because my day has ended. There's nothing productive going to go on from here on. And then I was thinking earlier where you're talking about there's no such thing as neutral. God even wired us so that while we sleep, our minds and our emotions and our psyche continue to process things.
Mm.
This is where dreams come from. This is where we process physical restoration. But even sleep isn't neutral. It's restorative. It is doing something. So I really buy. I think that's I would encourage you to consider really buying the fact that there is no neutral. I think that's significant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had that, I think on accident. We did very similar lengths. I didn't know TV. And I remember we got back from a drive. We had driven back, I think we'd gone up to Lindsay's family for the day. We got back and I was so exhausted. And I was just kind of ticked off that I couldn't just watch a show
Yep.
receive,
Yep.
absorb, and
Yep.
consume.
Yep.
So instead, I've got this little four band radio. Turned that on to the local station, and I read a book. I read it. So if we're talking about embodied leisure, you can't call it a holy book.
No, you cannot.
But I read that, and Lindsay was in her chair doing fiber arts, and I was laying on the couch listening to the radio and reading a book. And it took my brain a second to get into a different kind of consuming. It still is
Yeah.
consuming, but it's a little more
Yeah.
engaged.
Yeah.
And it was blissful. It was a perfect evening.
Well, your body has to read the words.
Yeah.
So you're using linguistic skills.
Yeah. It's a cooperative effort
It
reading.
is. It is.
Yeah.
So it's not passive. TV's passive,
Yeah.
but reading is not.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
So
So go ahead,
you,
John.
yeah, just here's the key is intentionality.
Yeah.
So I think if you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to make a list and these things I could do are bad. That is kind of how we're talking. So I apologize for that. And these things are good.
Yeah.
You mentioned that couple who sends TikToks. Say if they had dinner and they said, what do you want to do tonight? And they said, how about we do our TikTok exchange for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we'll go on a walk and then we'll do whatever. I
Hmm.
don't see anything wrong with that at all. I think that is intentional and relational. And you're in the room, you can hear each other laugh, you
Yeah.
can comment on it together.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. What I want to discourage is the drift. We drift from the dinner table, which you probably are eating on the couch anyway. You drift into this time,
Hmm.
and it's accidental and it's not embodied because you're just both in your little kind of algorithms.
I was visiting your sister in Texas, and um, uh, I had a show she's never seen. So I'm like, hey, let's watch this show. I want you to watch this show and have this experience with me,
Mhm.
and I want to talk about it. So even that is different than just vegetation state, numb intake.
Yeah. So let's talk about some for action items, the this kind of embodied leisure we're talking about. So give me a few years. You ride your bike, you walk Bosco, the super dog. What
Hmm.
else do you do?
I'll hit golf balls.
Hmm.
I like to go to the driving range or play putt putt, or something. So hitting golf balls it's a physical thing and it requires a set of skills that you can either get better at or not. So probably that. Um, Reading, I think. I also this is my favorite embodied leisure, Tell me if I'm because I'm not sure I'm nailing what you're selling here. If I'm using the right idea.
Sure.
Uh, my favorite leisure right now, and it's usually mid afternoon, say between 3:30 and 5. I take Bosco on the back deck. We've got a really large covered deck. Uh, Colorado is bone dry and cozy warm most of the time. Cool breeze, but there's no moisture, no humidity. And we have this sectional out there, this L-shaped patio furniture, and I put an extra pillow on that, and I lean back on that thing. Bosco's sitting at my feet. We're noticing who's walking by on the trail that's right behind our fence. It's a split rail fence. You can see right through it. You can see everything. And I'll doze off to sleep, or I'll just sit there. And Bosco and I will sit there 15 minutes without a sound. Maybe nobody has walked by, and his nose is doing this. He's sniffing everything in the air, and I'm just looking at him and I'm looking around. I love that. Now, is that embodied leisure, John?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it is. And it's a time in silence, as we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I live for that 20 minutes. It's one of the highlights of my day.
Well, and that probably feels like 20 minutes. You're a big part of this is you actually get something back. Everything on this list or everything that I would consider embodied in this way, it's kind of a funny word. It kind of means whatever we want it to mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I think every single one of those would give something back to you,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more than you put into it. So that 20 minutes as opposed to a 20-minute video,
Yeah,
I mean, that's going to give way more.
yeah.
The other one I would want to point out, because the other ones we talked about, other forms of creating as leisure, consuming rich media, books or shows with deep messaging, things like that, exercise, walking. But I would
Mm-hmm.
say relationality is also huge. I think my favorite leisure is having people over for dinner or
Mm-hmm.
being over at someone else's house for dinner. And you talk about nothing or everything. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a deep conversation. Some of our favorite friends we can talk to for, I mean, 4 hours.
I've
You know, just
witnessed it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
there is not a substantial world issue being discussed.
no,
It is movies and directors and music and uh, I'm shocked. I sit there. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy being in that room because that's not something I'm good at.
mm,
But you guys can talk about and laugh a lot, and it's really fun.
yeah. So that's I think that's a huge part of it. Is almost anything we've talked about. Having someone else there for that just is almost a exponential thing.
And I think it merits
Yeah.
here, John. In our town hall last week, there was a lot of conversations from the men about I wish I had that.
Hmm.
So, do you remember that? It was a hunger for
Oh
what
yes,
for
for
what
a community.
for community, what you
Yes.
just described. A hunger to have dudes to sit and talk to have a meal with, um, and couples too. But there's a hunger for that. So I think you do enjoy something that might be pretty rare.
I I am grateful for it. I should be more grateful for it, and I don't want to place I don't want to place envy on anybody. So
Yeah.
apologies if the result of that was if you don't have that and you go, man, must be
Well,
nice.
I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking that the encouragement is that started with people inviting somebody to their home.
Yeah, true.
You
Yeah,
know,
it started somewhere.
you guys dialed in really when you were part of a young marriage group.
Mhm.
So the leader of that opened their home
Yeah.
and had you there. You go on Wednesday nights to your friend's house who opens his home
Mhm.
and people gather. So I would just say it's a total parenthetical thought to this, but you're saying that part of your healthy leisure is to connect with humans. And if you have to host in your home and invite some people to a meal, do it because isolation is your enemy. Last thing
And
I want to go ahead.
well, sorry, real quick, just that the popular description of introverts are people who they lose energy around other people and they gain their energy alone.
Yes.
So this is not to say you have to fill your calendar with social
Right. Right.
occasions, but maybe try once a week. You know, it's there. I am an introvert, and I understand, but you will, I think, be better off for seeking this kind of leisure, even if it leaves you a little less rested than being home alone.
Yeah. The last thing I would say, John, is if you're going to do something that's um, mindless kill, say look at your phone or whatever, do it outside. Change the
Mm,
location, get off the couch, get off the chair, get out and sit in a lawn chair, sit on a log, and what, but get outside
yeah.
and just see if that changes your experience because I think it would.
I mean, this season is it's easy mode for presents. You
Hmm.
just go outside and there's just always a bird singing, or wind in a wind chime.
Yeah,
I love that. I think that's perfect. So weird action item this time, but seek, even in your own words, your own definition. Seek an embodied leisure activity you could do without digital technology,
yeah,
and pursue that in your rest time this week.
yeah. Well, I hope this has all made sense to you, and I hope that you get haunted by Blaise Pascal the way I have,
Mm-hmm.
and that you spend some time really thinking about, are you avoiding solitude and silence? And if so, why? And what are your distractions of choice? And do they have some kind of roadmap that shows you something about yourself that you might not know? What you're trying to satisfy, what you're craving, and what are some simple ways you could do to disconnect from the noise
Mm.
and become more present, more aware, and more connected. What else, John? Did that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. I want to shout out. We have a new website with. If you already listened to this, you're one of us. But there's some more resources there for if you are a parent and a mentor,
Yeah.
and or a mentor, and if you're a young man, we have some small group resources on there. We have, Dad, you put together a curriculum for a small group for a year's worth, correct?
It's at least a year, and it's 27 pages of a PDF you can get with a click. And it has some how to put a group together. And then it has what's called a discovery Bible study. It's got like 10 of those for you to choose from. Each of them is 10 weeks long. So,
Awesome.
great conversations you can have.
So exactly what we said. All of these great relationships that I'm privileged to have, they start somewhere. So if you think, well, what am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
We've got a resource for you for free, just a PDF on the website.
Yep.
You can have that, send out your invites, feed those people or meet them at a restaurant, and that's it. It's that simple. So,
It is super simple. And here's one classic, just kind of a vivid example of this. During the pandemic, my neighborhood, I lived in a small neighborhood, about 67 homes, one way in, one way out. People walked all the time, walked their dogs. And I said, because anxiety was spiking for a lot of people.
yeah.
And I asked a neighbor, we were talking and they said they were having a lot of anxiety. I said, well, you know what? The Bible talks a lot about anxiety, turns out. Would you like to hop on Zoom one night a week and we'll just spend 20 minutes seeing something the Bible says about anxiety? I would love that. Well, do you know anybody else that might be anxious that would enjoy that too? Yeah. So we end up with like 6 people on Zoom call one night a week and just looking at one passage at a time about anxious. Be anxious
Mm,
for nothing. Uh, worry. Be anxious for. Don't be anxious about anything. Pray about everything, and cast all your needs upon God. And the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your heart and your mind. That verse. You just talk about that. That's one of the conversations. So it's really simple to even pick one topic and say, hey, let's explore that for a while. You got a bunch of buddies who are having financial problems,
mhm.
or hey, what does the Bible have to say about money? Turns out a lot. Whatever. So it's really simple to do because you don't have to teach anything. You just
Yeah.
lay something out there and say, what do you guys think? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you teach each other and you all receive equally from the word. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. The website has been completely redone. It is beautiful and there are more resources on it. And we would love for you to take a look at it yourself, take advantage of what's available there, and share it with a friend. That would mean a lot to us.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will talk to you next week.
Have a great day.